Yo, 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 welcome to the McGruder Files presented by Kingdom Cast. I am your host, Philip P. Mac McGruder. I am thrilled to bring you my first episode here on the Kingdom Cast Network, packed with insight and energy, man. You might know me from my days on Chiefs Focus on my previous podcast, The War Room with PMAC, where we broke down the game with passion and precision. Now I'm here to dive in even deeper into the stories and strategies and personalities that make sports so electrifying, especially Chiefs football, especially with these guys here at Kingdom Cast. And I'm excited to be part of the team. And joining me today, you already know this man right here, man. This man don't need no introduction. The one, the only Chuck, better known as Good Luck Chuck, man. How you doing, fam?
Hey, what's happening, bro? I'm honored to be the very first guest of your new show, man. I'm glad that we brought you on board, and we're looking forward to the main things that you're gonna be doing for this network, man. So I'm excited. I'm excited for tonight's episode.
Hell yeah, bro. That's good. I'm excited too, bro. That's why I brought up you as my first guest, bro. You you bring your unique perspective and unmatched enthusiasm to the table. So this is going to be a great conversation. So, let's get started, bro.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right. So I'm gonna start off with some news. And as you guys see the title of the episode, which speaks to the first part of this news section for this show going forward with the McGruder Files, I'm gonna focus on some news that's important with the Chiefs, especially recapping the games, or especially any news that involves injuries or any deals that might happen, like a trade or something like that. So that's what you guys are going to get into. So part of the first part of the news segment, we already know the Chiefs put on a clinic against the Baltimore Ravens in week 4, dominating them 37-20, or in other words, as you see BTA, belt to ass. We put belt to ass on the Ravens in week 4. Same way our parents used to spank our brothers when we were doing something bad, bro. That's how we gave it to them. That pootie
For real,
thing
for real.
felt to ass. So anyway, this wasn't just a win; it was a statement, bro. The Chiefs are firing on all cylinders. Mahomes was straight up magical out there. He threw for 270 yards, 4 tutties, no picks. His precision was on point, completing 25 of 37 passes. Mahomes was surgical out there, man. Just the chef's kiss, man. He went 25 and 37 for 270, no picks, and dropped 4 touchdown bombs. That's his first 4 touchdown game since 2023, folks. Vintage Mahomes was picking apart the Ravens secondary that came in ranked almost dead last against the pass coming into this game. He dodged the blitz, and it was like just a casual Sunday for him, like in the past. And when Baltimore cranked up the pressure, Mahomes feasted. He went 9 for 13 for 98 yards and a score, especially against the pressure. This wasn't just efficiency. This was Mahomes saying, hold my Lombardi. We're back. And get this, with that performance, he became the youngest quarterback in NFL history to hit 250 touchdown passes. Legend status, it's locked in, bro. What's your thoughts about that? What stood out to you besides just Mahomes in that game, bro?
Yeah, man. It's been a very long time since we've seen a vintage performance like that from Patrick Mahomes. We was just wondering like when it was going to happen again, but thank God it finally did. But yeah, man, just a few things I noticed, man. I mean, we was able to get the quick passing game going. We was able to run a few more plays under center, and which caused us to be more efficient on offense. So I was very happy with the game plan. Like at first it kind of looked similar to how we've been accustomed to seeing the Chiefs for the last 2 years, but they got
Yeah.
it together after the first quarter. So I mean, it was great to see something fresh for a change.
Exactly. And you know what's so funny? I think I forgot who it was. I don't know if it was Country or if it was CJ who said it or DG. But yes, we did something that we haven't done before for real. We haven't ran the ball like that, which I'm going to speak into later as we get within this news. But the reason why we're not going to do that all the time is because Andy Reid, he has so much cards in his deck. He's like, I'm not going to show you my full hand. So I'm going to show you some certain hands, especially with certain situations like this game specifically. We had to win this game, man. If we had to use some stuff like we use in the postseason, so be it. And that's how we got the job done, man. So that's what I was happy about, at least.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So, but here's where it gets spicy. And Chiefs fans, you know what I'm about to say. The return of the X-Man, Xavier Worthy. X gonna give it to you. Game changer. The speed
What?
boy, he went off, bro. Boy, the speed demon was out since week one with that shoulder tweak when Kelsey ran into him, but he exploded back with just 7 touches that flipped the script, bro. I mean, 5 catches for 83 yards, 2 rushes for 38, including a filthy 35-yard scamper that had the Ravens secondary looking like they were stuck in quicksand, bro. I mean, Worthy's just not just a deep threat, bro. He's a magnet for coverage. I mean, defenders, they cheat over the top to chase that 4.3 speed or under 4.3 speed, and boom, it opens up the floodgates underneath. Like I mentioned on my first appearance on the Kingdom Cast special last Friday, I mentioned that, man. You just have him be like the decoy and player, is going to open up everything, and everybody else besides Worthy scored a touchdown. Well, Worthy and Kelsey, but just their presence alone opened up everybody, and that's what you're looking for. So,
Yeah, man. You mentioned with Xavier Worthy, man. Not only he's a guy that has the elite speed to stretch defense, but he also opens up for everybody else because like that elite speed, it causes attention for the defense. Like it's going to pay attention to him a little bit and open up for guys like Kelsey, Juju, or Tyquan. Tyquan's another deep threat. They want to use him. Hollywood Brown, he's adjusted to his new role now. He's been becoming more of a possession receivers these days. And it's going to be even more dangerous when Rasheed Rice gets back. So, like, you got to pick your poison then.
I'm gonna get to that point as you mentioned that, man. I mean, like you mentioned, I mean, like Juju, Hollywood, Taekwon. Like I mentioned, man, I wanted to see Taekwon on the field at the same time as Rice. I mean, as Worthy. And you saw what it did, bro. It had everybody confused. Like, should we go at Kelsey? Should we go at Worthy? Taekwon wide open, man, wide open for that 11-yard touchdown. And then there was that 33-yard, and then a 33-yard reception. I believe Juju or Hollywood, but I have to look back at that film just to see. But Worthy's presence just drew safeties away, creating mismatches and easing Mahomes' throws. Make it easier for him. And think about this, as you mentioned, Rice. We put up 37 points without Rasheed Rice. Without Rasheed. With him back, it could be even more potent. Despite a banged up Ravens defense line that we went up against, Andy scheming was just on point that game. It was excellent.
Yeah, and you want to know what else what Xavier Worthy does for this offense? He brings the running game element because, I mean, you saw, like, he take a jet sweep, get a first down for big yardage, in the rounds, however you want to do it, man. Like, he will line up in the backfield, toss it to him. He'll get to the outside. So he brings all kinds of elements to this offense.
Yeah, 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 man. And I also want to mention defensively, Spags, ooh, baby. It's like he listened to what I said when I said you got to contain Lamar. I even said it in the preview before the AFC Championship game when we went to Baltimore. We did the same thing to him like we did in that game, but worse in this situation. Defensively, Spags had Lamar seeing ghosts, like Sam Darnold when he was with the Jets. 2 picks, including one-handed one by none other than, well, it was probably 1 pick, but I need to go back and look at my notes. But that one-handed pick by Leo Chenal, bro. Oh my gosh.
That was incredible. That was an incredible play by Leo, man. Like, nobody saw that
Countries,
one coming.
oh my gosh. I was like, there's no way. And I thought about what Country said. I know Country was smiling from ear to ear, and even DG they both referenced that Leo was going to be a big part in this game. And they were just on point when they was mentioning Leo, because Leo was definitely important because of his speed, and he's got better awareness too along the way over the last 4 seasons when he's been here, and that's why I'm happy to see. We held one of the top ranked offenses to just 20 points. We outscored them 37-6 from the second quarter on, man. But that's for the deep dive later, though. But bottom line, this win wasn't lucky. It was dominant. And it's got the Chiefs rolling into Jacksonville with fire in their eyes. And that's what I hope to see for them going forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So there are 2 things I do want to bring up and ask for you before we move on to the next segment. There have been 2 things. One, there's the talks of Brees Hall coming to trying to trade for him. And then there's another thought I want to ask you too. Not just your thought about that and what you think we should do going forward, but do you think the Chiefs might have affected Lamar's career?
I ain't gonna say affected his career. 'Cause, I mean, at the end of the day, Lamar, he's gonna be remembered. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just one of those things where sometimes teams just has your number, man. Like we seen it with Peyton Manning. Like the Patriots were owning him for a good minute, till he finally cracked through the door. I mean, Dan Marino, he couldn't win a Super Bowl. Like he got there his rookie year, he could never go back. It just happens like that with these quarterbacks. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he got one Super Bowl, and that's been like an eternity now. He can never get back. So it just happens in this league. You know what I'm saying? Like there's very few teams that can go on and like win consistently. But like it's just hard. Like when a team just runs the league for a while, it's hard to crack through the barrier. There's just very few teams that can crack through that barrier. So
Boogie, you something else, G. No, I'm just a question. I just wanted to ask, man, because you know how when we take on other teams,
looking
especially their
forward.
star quarterbacks, like especially if we have a dominant performance, they're gonna be like, did the Chiefs get him too? And personally, I don't think so. But I did see that he looked like he gave up after that last sack, boy. He slammed that ball down, bro. That's why I mentioned in the group chat. I was like, bro, he reminded me of when Josh Allen got beat by us in the AFC Championship years ago. That last sack with Okafor, and then he threw the ball at Okafor's face mask. That's what it reminded me of. It was just sitting here like, wow, Lamar. Like, and then as Country mentioned, when you say that Mahomes is your kryptonite, he's got you. He's like, oh, you already gave it away, man. You scared of me. I mean, where's the guy that had everybody, as I mentioned on the show last Friday, when I worked at Arrowhead from 2018 to 2023, 2019, the year he won MVP, he had everybody on the edge of their seats, biting their nails because you didn't know what he was going to do next. Either was he going to break a tackle from Dirty Dan like he did in that end zone when Dirty Dan tried to tackle him and he just swung him like, get off me. But we haven't seen the same guy since, bro. And that's just all. That's why I asked this. So,
But I know one thing. The window for him, as far as like winning the Super Bowl, it is closing. It is closing pretty quick. So
facts.
who knows what's gonna happen, man? Like I said it on the show the other night on Kingdom Cast. I said it's gonna depend. Lamar gonna stay in Baltimore for the rest of his career. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Because I just don't think he'll win one in Baltimore. I just don't.
No. Especially then when you got John Harbaugh making those stupid decisions like he's been doing over these last few years. And he's a good coach too, man. It's John Harbaugh. Also part of the Andy Reid tree, right? Coming from Philly, special teams coordinator and all that. But it's like, what's going on with you, pal? Like, what's some of these decisions? Especially when you got Lamar Jackson, your MVP quarterback. You got all those talented offensive guys, even some of those guys on defense. And let me just mention this one thing about Ravens fans I can't stand. They so bad want to relive the old glory days of Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, T Sizzle. And it's like, guys, stop it. Just like when we say to some of our fans, like some fans want another Jamal Charles and all those guys. It's like, we're not going to have another. If you want to find somebody similar, just look in the draft. Just especially if they fit the scheme of what Andy does. I mean, if that's what you're looking for, fine. But just do your research and everything. That's all. So
That's the thing. Like I think that's what Baltimore's missing. They missing somebody like that, like somebody like those three as far as like leadership goes. Because right now I'm looking at this Baltimore roster like I don't see no leaders, man. I see guys that maybe lead by example, but I don't see a vocal leader in there to get the troops together. I'm not seeing it.
no, I mean, I'll never forget Roquan Smith running his mouth, Lamar. Nah, the thing that I'll never forget from Lamar was like right after we won the Super Bowl against the Niners that first year. He had the audacity when he did the interview with Lewis Reddy. This was during the COVID year. He was talking about, this is just another game, and we're going up against the super. Instead of saying super defending champs, he just called us former Super Bowl champs. And I'm like, all right, dog, don't be that disrespectful. And I'm like, I know Pat saw that. He's like, okay, more notes for you. Let me show you something. You need to learn something called respect, homie. And it's just what it is. Like, you are respected because, dude, you're a two-time MVP. People fear you. There was even one time I saw him dare somebody to tackle him when he was moonwalking, like, yeah, come on, come and get me. And dude charged him. He took off. It's like, where's that guy at? I'm a fan of that guy. I don't want a guy who's trying to be like our quarterback. Like, like that game against the Lions, when I saw that on tape, I said they just gave us a blueprint on how to beat Lamar, man. Or he gave us the blueprint for himself by deciding, do I want to run where I should take off and run where they can't catch me, or do I want to throw the ball because I want? I think it's like he's trying too hard to try to be something that he's not, and it's like, don't try to do that, man. Play the game that's helped you win. So
Yeah, the Lions they just added a little something. They just added a little flavor to what we've been doing, as far as playing the Ravens, and it ended up being worse for the Ravens.
exactly, man. I'm trying. I hope we get back at the Lions, especially mainly Jared Goff, because we're like 0-2 in our career. Mahomes is 0-2 in his career going against Jared Goff. He has to get one, bro. He has to. That Monday night game against the Rams, especially the moment that I'll never forget when he came up over to Andy and started talking his stuff. And then if you see the film clearly, you can actually see the referee wing back at Jared Goff. And I was like, y'all trying so hard. Y'all don't even want us to win the Super Bowl. So bad. That's you guys are trying. So that's why I'm sick and tired of fans talking about, oh, the refs on my home side. I'm gonna just straight up say this. Y'all ain't said that shit when Tom Brady was running supreme with Belichick. Those talks have died down. Well, because we Brady proved to be better, but no, that's not the point. No one person makes the team. A team makes the team, including the staff and everybody else, especially if you guys get caught cheating together. Take that L. You guys are a team, regardless if you did it or not. That's just me on that thing, but I don't want to take too much time speaking on that. But we move on to our next segment. And in the next segment, as part of the new show, because this is the first episode, this probably ain't going to be no longer episode, everybody. I'm aiming always to try to go for 30, 45, or even an hour with this show going forward. Basically weekly update, like news and everything else like that, and give my pointers. But in this segment, we're going to do a thing where I like to usually choose my top players from the previous games, depending on each week. Like, what did I see personally that I felt was a big factor in us winning the game, and how that could help us going forward, not just only in the next week's game, but for the rest of the season. So these are PMAC's top dogs, or in simple terms, the players of the game from offense and defense, and sometimes special teams, especially if the special teams play is a positive and it changes the trajectory or outcome of the game in our favor. So with that being said, I'm going to get my one from offense and one from defense. And I know Chuck has his offense and his defensive players of the game from that game against the Ravens. On offense, if it's not Xavier Worthy, if it's not Mahomes, I got to go with Isaiah Pacheco. I mentioned on the show on Friday, Isaiah Pacheco was going to be an X factor in this game, especially if he had watched the film of what Gibbs and Montgomery did to Baltimore before we played them. The man they called Pop was electric. Even with a lighter workload, 7 carries for 35 yards, 5 yards a carry. Just piling through the Ravens front 7 that was even missing two starters. But the real sauce, him using his hands, getting his hands involved in the passing game. 2 catches, 13 yards, including that slick 6-yard touchdown, grab to give him his first touchdown of the year. That pushed the lead up to 30-13 at the time. That score was the backbreaker, and Mahomes hitting Pacheco out of the backfield with Pop shaking the linebacker. It's nothing new there, but if, like I mentioned, if he gets back to being that guy before he had hurt his leg in week 2 against the Bengals last year, we'll be all right. I mean, everybody talks about his vision, but his vision, his burst, his ability to make something out of nothing was on point last Sunday against the Ravens. That's why this offense stays unpredictable, because, stuff like that, what Andy throws at you. But Pacheco is not just a runner, he's a weapon. I think he's a Swiss Army knife based off of his strengths that he brings to the table. And if he continues to keep with that consistency, then I'm good with that. So let me ask you, let me ask you, what's your thoughts about my pick for Offensive Player of the Year, and who's yours?
My fault. My fault. I'm kind of doing stuff in the background. My bad.
You good? You
Yeah.
good.
Sorry about that, y'all. So yeah, for me, man, as far as the offensive side of the ball, I got Xavier Worthy, man. I was trying to stray away from Mahomes and Xavier Worthy, but I landed on Xavier Worthy. Like even though he didn't score, he 121 total yards on offense overall between receiving and rushing. I mean, you can't really deny his impact there. Like as soon as he got back in the line, he hit the ground running, and he affected the Ravens defense the most. So that's why I went with him. I mean, I mentioned earlier what he does for his team. All the things he does on offense. So
Absolutely, man. Just like I mentioned last week, bro. Just his presence alone just opened up everything, and that's what I was just so happy about. It makes me feel confident about going for the rest of the year. Just like it didn't take long enough before all those the Chiefs are dead died down, bro. I'll sit here like just a matter of time. It's too early, people. Like, come on, like y'all already get it started early, especially ESPN. They always name the Chargers the AFC West champions preseason every year anyway. So what's new? So uh now I go to my defensive player of the game. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is your guy too, but I just had to choose him, bro. Leo Chenal was a menace out there, bro. Racking up 4 tackles and that unreal one-handed interception in the second quarter. Lamar thought he had an easy dump off, but Chenal read it like an actual quarterback on defense. Followed Mark Andrews throughout his route, turned around, located where the ball was coming, and he just, like his thought probably said, reach your arm out and make that catch. We've seen Leo do a lot of ridiculous stuff, especially climbing on top of the bus during the second Super Bowl parade. And I remember watching that in person there at the parade, part of the staff, and I'm sitting here thinking, if this dude could do all that, I wouldn't be surprised if he could take down a bear with his own bare hands, dude. Because, I mean, there's a guy 6'3", 245 who ran a 4.5, 440 and bitch 38 reps. I'm like, yeah, he's as big as Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, bro. That's what I was thinking, but he was on fire with it, bro. I mean, that interception set up the Chiefs field goal, making it 16-7 at the half. And Baltimore never recovered, bro. I mean, Chenal's instincts and his athleticism just shut down the Ravens' top-ranked scoring attack, holding them to just 20 points. He was part of that. Their lowest output since week 12 of last season. Spags dialed up the pressure. Yes, I know Boogie once called us Pressure Nation, not Sag Nation, Pressure Nation. But hey,
Pressure Nation.
Pressure Nation. yeah, man. I mean, he's dialed up the pressure. Chenal was the hammer, helping bottle up Lamar's legs and forcing, those picks and, even bad decision making. And that's how you dominate a former 2-time MVP like Lamar.
So absolutely. I wanted to be on the same boat with you with Chanel too, but for the sake of the show, I gotta be different. And the next closest thing is Nick Bolton, man. 6 tackles, got 1 hit on the quarterback. He could have had more. And Country brought it up on KinoCast yesterday. He said he was talking about Nick Bolton being mic'd up. He said, man, Lamar kept getting away. I could have had even better numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like he could have maybe sacked him 3 times.
Yeah.
But because you saw like on those delayed blitzes, man, he pretty much got there every time. He made Lamar escape from pressure and stuff. So he was definitely a key factor on that defense too.
Absolutely. I feel like Nick communicating that to the other linebackers, along with Drew and also Leo, and just making sure everybody was in their positions. The front 7, especially the D line. And I mentioned that the D line was going to be a big important factor. And all it took was just 2 sacks to just get Lamar out of his game, man, and even that interception. And the secondary, man, oh my gosh, man. I got to talk about my guy, Noah Williams, bro. I'll never forget, right after the Super Bowl we lost, and I was getting on War Room to talk about this with Thiz, he was one of the first names, along with Ashton Gelati, as those players. I'm like, these are the type of players that we definitely need on this roster, especially Noah being a pick artist, bro. I can't wait for him to get his first pick, and he is the number 1 rated. I think he's the number 1 rated cornerback, not only on Pro Football Focus, but the highest rated rookie cornerback in the league. And that's what I like to see right there, bro. It's like he's like the transition from Cal to the NFL, bringing that same skill set, has transitioned well. He's aggressive, and he does kind of give me Brashad Breeland vibes. But when I looked at his speed and everything else, like the measurables, and the skill set, there are two names that come to mind to me when I see no, it's Trayvon Diggs or Jilly Stephon Gilmore, bro. And it's like you got somebody like him next, like opposite McDuffie. And even Spags mentioned it today that McDuffie going into the slot opens up a lot more for Jalen and Noel. And I said, this is exactly what we've been wanting. We've been wanting this. We did not want to see Shamari in the slot because you saw he gave up a lot of yards. They'd be like, oh, that's the guy we need to
It was
target.
bad. It was bad.
Like Dirty Dan, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. I'll never forget those days. It was just something else, man. Just something else. But I'm glad we don't have to go through that. And well, I will say with how this all goes forward, man, just if Leo, if Pacheco, Worthy, because Worthy's presence alone still just is enough. That's just enough. And Nick, if they continue to play with that same mindset like they did, try to consistently go for that every week, man, I already feel that we're gonna go back, but I feel like we could do better than just saying we're just going back. I think we might dominate teams, and teams might really be scared of us for real if we just keep dominating like that. So that's how I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. There's one thing that Brett Beach knows how to do. He knows how to draft cornerbacks. He's been on the roll doing that for quite some time. I mean, pretty much ever since he's been the GM for the Chiefs. Like he's hit on a corner, like no matter what round it is.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing about Brett Beach. What people don't realize about Brett Beach is this, man. He's playing money ball. Not only is he playing money ball, because let's just be real. Before Brett Beach, everybody's always said that the hunts are cheap. I've heard this. I know you heard that too, growing up in KC too, about how they are. Okay, that's one. But then you add the money ball aspect, where it's the same thing. It ain't just the hunts. The Oakland A's, now the Sacramento A's, who are going to Vegas in the future, use that same method through Billy Bean. And ever since I watched the movie Moneyball, it helps me to say, like, you know what? Now I see what Brett Beach is doing now. And it's actually working. We're actually getting these players, especially through the draft or even getting them on low-end deals, especially just convincing them, like, hey, man, I know you used to be a $20 million a year guy or $15 million a year guy, but you have an opportunity to play with Patrick Mahomes, especially if you know how to use your money right from those last deals. That's the beauty of it with Brett, man. I mean, he does great in drafting those corners. I mean, some people might give him hell about the offensive line, but he did get Josh Simmons. He got it. And he was able to get Josh Simmons at the 32nd pick. And I know teams are kicking themselves like, how do we let Josh Simmons slip to the Chiefs at 32, man? It's like, how? And it's like, hey, I don't want to answer that question. I mean, that speaks to y'all. Because I know all y'all couldn't choose him because y'all needed other needs. But that's just the beauty of having a guy like Brett Beach, especially who's seen it and done it before when he was first with the Eagles, as an executive guy. And I also think he's also taking a mixture of what Belichick did with the draft picks and all that stuff, even though he made some bad draft picks. It's that, and also a mixture of what the Ravens do, especially when the Ravens let certain players go and they get that draft compensation back. That's another thing, and that's what I like what Brett is doing. And, he just needs to keep doing it. So,
Yeah, and our guy CJ said it best the other day in our post game. Like, no GM goes 100%. Like, that's impossible. I mean, the goal is to get as close to it as possible, but there's gonna be a miss or two here and there. But Bear Beach has been more times right than wrong. I mean, that's all that matters.
and don't forget, he first came here because became GM to fix the mess that John Buddy Boy Dorsey created, especially given all those
Don't know
deals.
what a calculator is.
Bro. And I even heard the story about how Beach was able to convince Big Red and Dorsey. Like, he damn near banged the door, almost about to knock it down. Like, dang it, John, you about to miss out on the greatest quarterback of all time. Hey, man. Hey, Brett does his job, bro. I mean, you just got some egotistical guys like Buddy Boy and all this other stuff. Like, that's what we're doing. We're going here to look for good players here and all that. Like, going to get D4 when we already had Justin Houston and Tamba Hali. And I understand building a strength on top of a strength, but I just personally feel that was a wasted draft pick. And then years later, neutral zone infraction. Oh my gosh, man. It was being at that game. Oh my gosh. The moment that Mooney picked off Gronk, because the ball bounced off of Gronk's hands and then landed in Mooney's hands, Arrowhead lit up loud in that moment. But then when we saw the flag, we was like, oh no, please don't, please don't. And the moment they said 55, neutrals on the fraction, we all knew it was over. It was like, damn it,
Yeah.
D. And then he gonna be like, I was outside. I was like, if he came to me and asked that, I'm sorry, I probably would have punched him like, yeah, motherfucker, you was offside. How the hell you ain't gonna know this stuff, bro? Get out of here, bro. I'm sorry. But no disrespect at the end of the day, your players, because as a KU guy, I gotta mention it. There was something like that years ago when KU played Michigan in the Elite Eight, and one of the players we had was Elijah Johnson. And you gotta do what you gotta do to try to win the game. And he didn't come through well, but I felt bad for him because I know fans are gonna give him shit for that moment. It's like, don't forget, he's a young guy, man. He's probably a senior in college, and he's got a lot of pressure, man. Especially those are the things I took into consideration. And it was that serious. So anyway, Pacheco, Chanel, Worthy, Bolton, heart and hustle on both sides of the ball. These are the kinds of performances that have Chiefs Kingdom dreaming for another deep playoff run, and it's going to happen. We just keep it going. So, other than that, you got any final thoughts before I go to the final segment of the night, sir?
I don't have anything else, man. So I'm ready for the final segment when you are.
All right. To close out this first great edition of this show, I always like to end this show with, in my opinion, the keys to how we're going to win these games, man. So I'll do a segment called The Keys of Victory. I did it on the War Room, where I, take an in-depth look at where the Chiefs must take advantage to win against their upcoming opponents. These keys to the game are very important. They can be the factor that causes the outcome of the games. With that being said, here are PMAC's 4 keys to victory. We already put belt to ass on the Ravens. Now, these are the 4 keys of maybe having a belt to ass moment on the Jaguars and Duval on Monday Night Football to really send a statement to the world saying, yeah, the Chiefs are here. We ain't going nowhere. So here they are. Key number 1, create pressure on Sunshine, a.k.a. Trevor Lawrence. The Jaguars go, boy.
Sunshine,
Sunshine,
sunshine.
sunshine. Come on, sunshine. You don't need all them golden locks, man. I was just talking about that with my people at Sacks. Shout out to you guys if you watching. The golden boy for Jacksonville. He's shaky under duress. 4 picks this season with us. And I mentioned this earlier on the spaces with DMAC. He has a 75.1 quarterback rating and a QBR of 48.8. That's terrible. That's Skip Bayless's favorite stat. I bet you Mahomes' QBR is way better than that, and I know that's why Skip ain't saying nothing. So anyway, Spagnuolo's going to dial up the heat like he did against Lamar. Chris Jones, Carl Loftus need to live in the backfield, collapse that pocket. And I know that Lawrence's completion rate drops when he's blitzed, or he looks bad when he's blitzed or getting constant pressure. So expect Spags to mix coverages and send Leo or Drew on delayed rushes, mainly looking at Leo because Leo got the speed like an edge rusher and the strength like an edge rusher to get to the dude. If we get 2 sacks and force a turnover, it's lights out. What you think?
Yeah, I agree, man. And I see the comment Colin said it's gonna be a 2-pick game because he's gonna give you one for sure. And that's
Yeah.
definitely a possibility. Like the dude is a walking turnover every week. I mean, whether he throws a pick or whether he throws a ball, like you're gonna get something from Trevor. He's gonna give a gift to the defense. So I mean, and like the Chiefs, I mean, they starting to get it. They starting to get it as far as forcing turnovers. I mean, I know like early on for the start of the year that wasn't the case, but you saw Baltimore last week. They were able to create turnovers and we actually scored off of them for a change.
Yeah. And man, it's just one of those things that we need to take advantage of. Like, I would suggest looking at the film from not only the AFC divisional game where we created that pressure on Lawrence, but I would look at the game against the Bengals and see what, yes, the Cincinnati Bengals did to give them their first loss of the year. I just want to see that. That was the game where Burrow got hurt, man, and the offensive line was just terrible. But I'm glad we don't have an offensive line like Cincinnati because they're just wow, bro. And you gotta watch out for Brian Thomas and also Travis. But I will mention that is part of another key. So, key number 2, play complementary football and avoid costly penalties. Last week, the Chiefs played clean football, only 3 penalties for 20 yards. That's the blueprint. Jacksonville's defense thrives on chaos. They will bait you into holding calls or late hits. Offensively, protect Mahomes. No false starts from you, Jawan. I'm looking at you again, good sir. You dominated last week. Keep it going. And think about it. Jawan
Revenge game for
returns.
Jawan.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jawan returns to Jacksonville, to Duval. This should be the game where he, like, starting last week, this should be week 2 of, like Kingsley. Like, Kingsley is dominating too, bro. Just love seeing everybody. And, he has to hold his own against his former teammate, Josh Haynes Allen. Eliminating pre-snap penalties will go a long way in the Chiefs' efforts to winning on the road, especially dealing with a boisterous Duval crowd, the Jacksonville crowd, man. So defensively, keep those defensive backs disciplined. Don't let Brian Thomas, De'Ami Brown, or Travis Hunter draw a defensive pass interference in the end zone. All 3 phases of the game, offense, defense, special teams, they need to feed off each other. Score, stop, control the clock, do that, we're cruising.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So then we go to key number 3. Eliminate Jacksonville's big plays on special teams. I feel like this is an important one too, because you got to look at Jacksonville, what they're doing on special teams. And our special teams unit has done really well, but there have been moments that we could look a little like we don't know what we're doing out there, miscommunication. But the Jags special teams, and yes, Parker Washington is that guy we need to watch out for. Whether he's returning kicks or returning punts. This guy took a punt return 87 yards to the house against San Francisco last week. Flipping that game on its head. The Chiefs coverage unit, and I'm looking at you, Joshua Williams, no penalties on special teams this week. Has to stay in their lanes and to tackle this guy. No stupid, costly penalties that would affect us, especially if that moves the ball in their territory. No missed assignments. Matarizes got a cannon for a leg. Use it to pin Washington deep or force fair catches. And on the flip side, keep Nico Remigio, Rashard Smith.
Remigio.
I love that shit, bro. Like, bro, I mentioned Remigio in that game against the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game, and I saw Buffalo stat. They were one of the worst punt return coverage units in all of football. I said, this is Remigio right here, and that's why I mentioned it on the show, that he was a big factor. So he's going to be a big factor to me again in this game, just like you saw last week. And you saw Rashard looks good too. So having both of those players, Jets, ready for a counter punch, neutralize their return game, and you take away a huge weapon for them.
Yeah, and we got many options too for like the return game. You saw Jalen Rose return the kickoff last week against the Ravens. I mean, you see, like you mentioned, Brashard Smith, he done returned the kickoff before. So we got many options to throw at Jacksonville for this week.
Absolutely, man, right there. So, and then the final, most important key to winning on Monday Night Football in Duval: stop the run. Stop ETN. Stop tooting. Jacksonville's ground game is their heartbeat. They're the reason why they're really 3-1, not Trevor Lawrence, the run game. ETN's averaging almost 5 yards a carry, 4.8 yards per carry. Tootin, he's a bruiser. He's gashed defense for 92 yards last week. The front 7, Drew Tranquil, Nick Bolton, they have to set the edge and fill those gaps. Derrick Henry got bottled up last week for less than 4 yards a carry. That's the model. Force the Jags into 3rd and long, where Trevor Lawrence's passer rating drops 15 points. Stack the box early, make them one-dimensional, and let Mahomes score on them.
Yeah, and I want to elaborate on your last point because I mean that was one of my keys. You know what I'm saying? So we're on the same page here. So I want to elaborate on what you just said about controlling the run game. The Chiefs, they right now tied for like the fourth most giving up yards per carry right now, 4.9. Like nobody's got 100 yards yet, but you know, it ain't the run defense we've been accustomed to seeing so far. And also like we can't let Travis Etienne get going early in the game because that's when he does most of his damage. Because I found a few stats with him. The first half, he's averaging 8.8 yards per carry, like almost a first down a carry. It's crazy in 1.5 of football. And but in the second quarter, that's when he really gets off because in the second quarter, he's averaging 14.3 yards per carry. So it's very important that we don't get him going. Like we gotta keep him in check early. And like you mentioned, Phil, make them one dimensional from the get go early on.
Absolutely.
Similar to how we did Derrick Henry last week. Like Derrick Henry, he had like about 5 yards of carry, but he didn't touch the ball that much because we forced the Baltimore to panic. So
After all that time of him holding the ball all week, like, and even the coach's report, we even had to wrestle it from him. That ain't mean nothing, dude. That ain't mean nothing. Get out of here, Derek. Come on, man. I'm sorry, but that was so comical. And he didn't play the rest of the game either. Justice Hill was really doing more damage than he was, man. Which
yeah,
is
Justin
crazy.
Hill scored 2 touchdowns.
Dude, bro. I mean, oh my gosh. That dude, he's on fire, man. I actually like he's the type of player that we should have in our backfield. And as a matter of fact, I see that in Brashard Smith. Brashard Smith can be like our Justice Hill going forward, just give him more touches. I feel like that could also be a big factor towards our offense growing and becoming better, man. And yeah, man. So there you guys have it, man. Pressure Lawrence. Play clean, lock down special teams, stuff the run, execute these 4 keys, and the Chiefs are walking out a Duval, Jacksonville 3-2 with the AFC on notice. And then after that, we'll be 1 game away from the return of Rashee Rice. EGE. Everybody's got to eat.
Everybody got to eat, dog.
Absolutely. So, G, you got any final thoughts or anything you want to say before?
All right, and I don't know if you mentioned this. Of course, we got to win the turnover battle with Jacksonville. Like they've been good at forcing turnovers, they've been good at scoring off of them, but we've done a very good job of protecting the football. So it's very hard to force turnovers against us. I mean, you guess got to have. I guess got to be similar to Philly from last year's team, I guess. But that's very important. So like I said earlier, we win the turnover battle and we score points off the turnovers more so than they do. We should be able to win the game, and I think we do.
I'm right there with you, man. I should have mentioned that because I did see that they do force a lot of turnovers, especially the opposing quarterbacks. But you look at the guys that they played, I ain't really played anybody that made me go like, "Oh,
For
I'm
sure.
scared of this team." Like it's like, come on, it's my homes, bro. That's why y'all gonna be really up on y'all feet trying to figure out how to stop him. And then when you got Worthy, you got Juju, you got Thornton, you got Kelsey, you got Gray, you got Pacheco, you got Hunt and Rashard Smith. Pick your poison.
Yep.
Mahomes is already looking like, man, we just can't, we can't, we gotta win the chess match. That's when it comes down to. You might not get the best yards, you might not be the fastest guy or whatever. But if you take advantage of the other teams, miscues, and also let's say they miscommunicate, that's what made Tom Brady so great. Him and Belichick took advantage of the other teams' miscues. They were playing chess while everybody else was playing checkers. That's how we need to play it. That's picking back on what you said there on just winning that turnover battle. It's all about mental toughness, man. And we just come out, play like that, we'll be all right. So,
And one last thing, like as long as we protect 15, I mean, we should be good. Like Jacksonville, with Josh Hines Allen, I mean, they defensive line, I mean, Trayvon Walker, he's in question. I don't know if he's going to play. I don't think he's going to play.
me neither.
But like I know Jacksonville, they like in the top 10 in like pressure rate overall. So, but it hasn't really translated to sacks. But like as long as Patrick don't end up running around all of a sudden in the pocket. As long as his internal clock is continuously slowing down, we gonna be straight. Like it has been.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, everybody. Well, before I end the show, it's time to get a quick word from our sponsors. And this one's a game changer for your October picks, especially if you're parlaying. We are talking underdog fantasy, the ultimate spot to crush those parlays and stack that cash while backing your squad. October is Boost Ober Unlimited, baby. Absolutely. Every single day of this month, you'll get 30% profit boost on any parlay you drop. That's right. Mahomes light up Jacksonville, boosted. Pacheco grinding out 80 plus yards, boosted. Let's say last week you saw Jalen Daniels, my guy from KU, throw 4 touchdown passes. If you was able to choose that the last week, boost it. You know what I mean? Stack them up. Watch the payouts explode. Live that Chiefs Kingdom high, bro. Head to Underdog Fantasy right now. Sign up. Lock in that edge with the promo code Kingdom Cast. It's your ticket to unlimited boost and nonstop action. Don't sleep on it. Download the app. Enter Kingdom Cast. Let's turn those picks into wins. Underdog Fantasy, where the boost never stop, neither does the fun.
That is a hell of a commercial break by you, Phil. That's outstanding, man. You done it. You did it a lot better than I've ever done it on Kingdom Cast. So shout out to you, brother. Shout
Thank
out to
you.
you, man.
Yes, thank you, good sir. This is actually one of the first sponsorships I ever get to talk about, and this is what I'm happy to be part of, man. And I'm actually going to use that tonight. So it is the thing. You can't do FanDuel or DraftKings in Nebraska, but you can do Prize Picks, Chalkboard, and Underdog in Nebraska. So I'll be looking at that tonight. So you got anything else before we get out of here, OG?
Nah, man. I don't have anything else, man. I mean, like I said, I'm just glad to be on the very first episode of your new show, man. I'm looking forward to seeing your show grow within our network, and we looking forward just to keep this network growing, man. I'm seeing the growth already. I'm been seeing a few more subscribers lately, so we're getting things back rolling over here for sure.
Absolutely. I also want to mention before I get out of here, yeah, Blake, man, I definitely want to see more under center runs as well, too, bro. Like, shout out to you, bro. You my guy. Been talking to you on Twitter, bro. Thank you all who has supported me throughout this journey. I'm blessed to be part of, to me, the best Chiefs media group in all the kingdom. To be part of this team, man, to help this team grow, baby. We're going places, man. I'm very happy to be part of that journey. So that's it for the McGruder Files, episode 1. Big thanks to my guest, my bro, good luck, Chuck, for dropping the knowledge. Chiefs Kingdom. You know how to follow Chuck. Tell them where they can follow you at, man, and especially what's going on with the next upcoming shows on Kingdom Cast.
Yeah, man. You follow me at CPin for the win. That's the number 4, the win. That's my Twitter. Find all my stuff there. Instagram, same thing. If you want to follow me on there, I ain't really posted anything on Instagram in a long time, but I might post something on my story every now and then or whatever. But yeah,
Sure.
that's where you can find me.
All right, man. Well, with that being said, tune in Monday night and let's get loud, Chiefs Kingdom. Let's go for it, baby. Duval, we coming for you. All right, y'all.
Let's go, Chiefs.
Peace.